Hey, my name's Glen and this is my story. I grew up in a family where my parents didn't go to church. However, when I was about 6 or 7, my older sister invited me along to Sunday school and went along. I think the reason I stayed was probably the Tim Tams at morning tea, but I do have fond memories of my time there. When I was in year 8, my sister told me that the church that I was at had just started a youth group, and so I started going to that youth group. I was one of 4. It was very fresh. In that period of time, I got baptized and confirmed, and there were some really awesome moments. However, the pulls of this world pulled me away from those feelings and those realizations. I started to feel the tension between going to church and trying to fit in at school, and it was clear that I couldn't do both easily, and as most people, I wanted to take the easier options. I saw that being a Christian wouldn't give me the immediate highs that going out and drinking on a Friday and Saturday night would. So for that reason, I decided to step away from church, cut my ties with my relationships there, which wasn't easy, but also I knew that I couldn't live that double life any longer. The tail end of school and afterwards, my sole focus was being a musician. I wanted to be a rock star. I wanted to make it big time. And so me and a couple of mates from school did that. That's how we spent all of our time. We'd be practicing, rehearsing. We also lived the rock star life on the weekends as well, thinking that we'd already made it, whether it was drinking or drugs or whatever it was. Yeah, at that point in my life, I was a bit of a mess. I was constantly chasing after things that I thought were going to satisfy me, but I was left empty every Monday morning, wondering what my life was becoming. So about 2 years after school, me and the bandmates thought it'd be a great idea to live together so we could really pursue that rock star life. And so it was the end of 2012. We all moved into a place that we were renting. I was going through all of my old stuff, what to throw, what to keep, that sort of deal. And I came across a book that my sister had given me when I wasn't a Christian. At the time, I'd thrown it aside, but now I had a bit more time. I just moved into a new house. It was during the holidays. So I came across this book and I started reading it. The only thing I'd read at that point in time would be a musician's autobiography. So it did appeal to me from that point of view. As I read it, I started to realize that the author, who was in a band called Korn, he became a Christian, but I realized that he had everything that I wanted in life. He had success and fame, money, all those things, and yet his life was still unsatisfying. He was dissatisfied with how his life was going. And it caused me to reflect on what I was doing and where I was heading. I was convinced of the fact that if only I had these things, money, whatever it was, that my life would be fully satisfied, that I'd be happy. And here was this person telling me, no, I've had it and it's not what it's cracked up to be. I was struck by God's grace to me through this book, and that he was offering me a chance to turn back to him, despite everything I'd done, how I turned away from him. That was extremely powerful. I think the most freeing part about the gospel was that it didn't matter how much I tried to be satisfied. It wasn't in my hands. There was nothing I could do. I couldn't undo all the bad things I'd done. Jesus had come down to live the perfect life for me. About 8 months after I gave my life to Jesus, I was diagnosed with Crohn's disease, which was really rough. I was sort of wondering, God, I just became a Christian and now this is happening to me. I actually remember I used to work at Woolies, and one morning I was riding my bike to work and it was bucketing down. And I remember I had a poncho on or something, but I got to work and I was just soaked, and I was really not feeling well either. And I just remember I went to the bathroom to get changed or dry off or something like that, and I was reading my Bible actually, and I was reading, I think it was James 1, which sort of said, expect trials, because trials are going to make your faith stronger. And I remember just thinking to myself, Lord, only you could use something this bad to produce something good, because I felt like rubbish. But Through the trials of pain and suffering, I feel like God has strengthened my faith. He has helped me to hold on to Him, not onto things of this world. I think without that, I know my tendencies, and my tendencies are go to things that satisfy immediately. And actually, through my sickness and through my suffering, my relationship with God has gone to a depth that I don't think it would have otherwise. And for that, I'm incredibly thankful. I think there's a temptation to think that the best things that God has done for us are behind us, but actually He's got amazing things in store for us that are coming up. And so I can't wait to see what God's got in store for me, knowing that what He's done in the past is an example of His faithfulness to me. I'm excited to see how He'll continue to be faithful to me for the rest of my life.